So like going like I guess moving from Made in Abyss, one thing I've noticed is that you always try to do something new with like every new project that you take on. I guess that's why you put a lot of experimental stuff into Made in Abyss. And I feel like Tower of God, right? That's just like dubstep, which is like so far removed from what you were doing in Made in Abyss. Like how did that come about?
Like, did you have to listen to like a lot of dubstep to like study it, or did that just like come out?
Did they tell you, or was that your decision to be like, I'm gonna put a bunch of fucking dubstep
No,
in
it's
there
because
right
I
now?
used to go to a lot of fucking raves.
I just feel like making a rave.
No. Like one of the people I worked with, okay, pre-story again, but like, yeah. So Perth has like a massive drum and bass scene.
We're really getting the backstory.
Yeah. Like, but well, Pendulum from there, for example.
Oh, yeah, true.
Pendulum,
Of course.
It has a great scene, and So when I went to Whopper, I got introduced because I was like, oh, I love video game music, and that's it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But then one of my friends, one of my really really close best friends that I still, we're still really really close today.
Yeah.
So we've known each other for it's getting on 13 years now.
Yeah.
But he used to be like, oh well, we're going to this fucking we're going to like this like hotel bar to go to a rave, and I've got a track, and one of the DJs is playing one of my drum and bass tracks. Come, and then just do a bunch of fucking like vodka cruises and whatnot, and just dance like a fucking Energizer bunny on the fucking floor, like for like 3 or 4 hours, and it would be great. And so I kind of kept that. And when I moved here, obviously, there's big kind of EDM.
Yeah.
I just like to imagine you at like DEF CON or something, and you're just standing there like they don't know I'm a flautist. It's just like standing there.
I'm very good at the world's shittiest shuffle. But
I would pay to see that.
Yeah, no, it's like, but that culture of dance music, and especially
Like hardcore music.
Either liquid drum and bass or dark drum and bass fucking just kept with me.
Yeah.
So like, if you think about like kind of those elements where it's either like very very fluid sort of synthesizers, or it can be like there is some fucking hardcore like music like in that genre.
Yeah.
If you've like been to like man, it's like there's so many like examples, but if you hear like I can't even think of like, I remember going to a couple of gigs in either South or East London when I was living here.
Yeah.
And the fucking bass that comes out of some of these like venues, man.
Yeah.
Because there's like
Holy
speakers, like I went to this warehouse gig once. I can't remember where because it's been so long ago, but like I remember like just walls and walls of speakers for hundreds of meters, and then because it's like a 3-story warehouse, they've got speakers going up.
Yeah.
Fucking bass that comes out of those mixes. When you're on the dance floor, obviously you had a couple of vodka tonics or something like that. Man, you just like it's wettening. It's
you feel every atom in your body just like shake. Yeah.
Especially the bass, like it's a fucking physical reaction. It's fucking biblical, man. It's so good.
Yeah.
And so like,
the bass is good when you don't hear it, you just feel it.
You do. Feel it.
That's such a good adadjective.
Yeah.
Biblical. I'm going to use that more often.
It's resonating in your chest. It's really good. It feels awesome, and it sounds great as well until you start bleeding.
This chicken sandwich, biblical.
Biblical.
Fucking biblical, mate.
It's so good that Jesus had to get involved.
It is a little spiritual, I would say. It is a little spiritual. But yeah, so that culture and that feeling still is with me, even though I write a lot of orchestral music as well. When it came to Tower of God, if you look at the manhwa, because manhwa, unlike manga, is it's colorized.
Yeah.
So if you look at the color palette for Tower of God in the manhwa, it's actually very minimalist. So there's normally like 3 or 4 like very big bold colors on a panel, and then you go back and you see these really interesting, like some of the characters are sometimes just silhouettes against like a huge beautiful background, or in front of a giant creature or something like that. So there's a as a composer, it's like kind of a bit of a wet dream. It's really good. If you think about taking really bold colors that are contrasting and trying to put them together in a musical sense, like you can split it into, let's say, a frequency range. You can go high, mid, low. So if you have I did a theme for one of the characters called Rachel, and her theme is literally just harp. So there's harp in the middle, there's like dial-up style tones on top, and then just this bass comes in to just kind of punch you in the face, essentially, punch you in the chest cavity. And so like that sort of like dubstep with harp, for example, like how can we find like interesting combinations that still kind of relate back to this idea of frequency spectrums being kind of split up to represent very minimalist but maximalist style coloring in panels.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So like, you know, you have like this kind of pretty harp and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
you know, but, and then like also like very I know, welcome, but like, you know, these sorts of like also radical changes in texture as well.
Yeah.
Like that suits Tarot God in my mind, at least.
Yeah.
No, it definitely
So
did.
like,
Yeah.
when you handed it to them and you're like, here it is. They were like,
Well-
were they like, whoa?
Well, it was kind of interesting because we did essentially what you could call almost like a concept album. We did like 13 tracks. We were like, we're going to put together 13 contrasting tracks to
That's
present.
quite a lot of tracks.
It's a lot of. It was a big investment.
Yeah.
But like we did like the first 13 tracks as like sort of a proof of concept, saying like, this is what we want to do. This is how we want to do it. We need this style of choir and, you know, this harp and dubstep idea, and we want to, you know, punch people in the face with like fucking, like beats and shit. And they were all for it. Which again,
alright.
just fucking lucky, and
Yeah.
thank you to them for like actually just being like
Being cool with it.
we're cool.
Yeah.
I
We're
feel
cool.
like when you explain stuff in music, I'm like, yeah, okay, all right,
Yeah.
all right.
I have achieved the impossible.
Yeah, I feel like if I was the exec, I'd be like, you sound like you know it. I'll believe you.
You mentioned the word biblical. That's all I need to know.
He said biblical, minimalist, and then maximalist. And within like 1 second, and I was like, that sounds like you know what's up.
It's like, look into my eyes, not
Yeah,
around.
yeah. I just like I'm like, yeah, okay. Harps go with, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
harps
of
go with
course, of
bass.
course.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you also need to, you know, execute the concept.
Yeah,
Of course. Yeah.
And so, like, you know, because obviously everything's done kind of in a computer, so to speak, until you go to the recording process as well. So
Yeah.
it's not, you're also showing a demo. You're not showing like the fully
Right,
realized
right.
Yeah.
sort of thing. So then you've got to potentially risk, you know, going and finding the right musician, finding the right space,
Yeah.
within the right budget, of course, as well.
Are you the one handling all of this? Is the
Oh, I mean, it's not like I've got sort of the music supervisor, or the
Right.
music director,
Yeah.
that we work with every day. So.
Right.
so if you need someone to play the harp, right? You need someone to record it. You're like, I know a guy, or
Well-
you're like, please find me a harp person.
Well, this is the lucky part about going to a music college. Because
You know
and
everyone.
especially-
You get to know a bunch of
Right, right,
musicians.
right,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, a couple of the composer friends that I went to Whopper with, and sorry, I'm gonna come back to it, but like, you know, it's all it's all connected, man. All connected.
My man's got Dimitri on speed dial. It's like, hey yo, I know the guy.
We sent
No.
voice messages, happy birthday. So.
He knows a mate.
Yeah, he knows a mate.
No, he's a beautiful boy.
Yeah.
Beautiful man. But yeah, no. So like, for example, like when I went to undergrad in Whopper, like I had a couple of friends and stuff that like I started working with on Tower of God. So
Yeah.
you know, Matt McLean, Feeding Air is his name, and we did some drum and bass stuff for Tower of God.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
like really nice.
Yeah.
And then I knew some musicians because I went to the RCM here in London,
Right.
And like those student musicians are bloody good.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
you know, those student musicians of the RCM become, you know, they have a very good chance of becoming working musicians.
Yeah.
Right.
You'd hope so. You'd hope so, right?
There is a really like they are beautiful musicians, and
Right.
because you're just basically breaking bread with these guys for 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
going to the RCM bar and you're getting hammered with these guys all
Yeah.
the time, and so you know you have like this connection because you know in the same way that we kind of you know broke a little bread over
Yeah.
about 600 gin tonics, you know, but you do the same with like the musician stuff. They're good friends, but they also they come to work.
Sounds
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It sounds like every aspect of the entertainment industry. It's like,
Yeah,
also,
yeah.
you can be good at what you do, but
Yeah.
also you need to go out and talk to people.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really
Exactly.
super important. And so when it came to certain projects like this, like Tower of God, like I mean Valeria was the harp player, and she does not only classical harp, but she also does improv harp. So I could just give her like you know I could almost give him some you know really piece of shit fucking like sheet music where I was like I've done my best to like make it so that it doesn't look like an absolute insult, but feel free to like just interpret this in a non-shitty way.
Right.